All right, we are here on case 21 CF 867, State of Florida versus Crystal Smith. Who do I have appearing on behalf of the State of Florida?
Jennifer Duncan.
And on behalf of the defense?
Matthew Kuchergis with my partner Elizabeth Betsy White.
All right. And Ms. Smith is also present. We're set for jury selection to begin on Monday. However, I was notified that there had been a change in circumstances, and we added the case to the calendar for this afternoon. So with that, Mr. Kuchergis, do you want to update the court on where things are?
I will, Your Honor. The state and the defense have been talking for a little while regarding a resolution of this case short of trial. And through those efforts, we've arrived at a negotiated disposition whereby Ms. Smith will be entering a plea of no contest to the count charged in the information tampering with evidence. The negotiated disposition entails Ms. Smith being adjudicated guilty of the charge to be sentenced to 5 years of probation with a special condition of 30 days in the St. Johns County Jail. Defendant is eligible for early termination of probation after 3 years, and there will be standard court costs and fines assessed, as well as a $100 cost of investigation to the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office and a $100 cost of prosecution to the State Attorney's Office. With that being said, Your Honor, I have a plea form that's been executed by Ms. Smith, myself, and Ms. Duncan. And if I may approach, I could tender that to Madam Clerk.
You may. You can approach with your client up here to the railing. Ms. Dunn, if you'll come forward as well. Ms. Dunn, you just heard Mr. Kuchergis state the terms of the plea agreement. Is that the plea agreement that the state has negotiated with Ms. Smith?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I see that the Bailey family are all present, as well as some other friends and family members. Are they also in agreement with this disposition? Are they requesting for the court to accept this proposed disposition?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Any other matters that you address at this time before we begin?
No, Your Honor.
All right, ma'am, if you'll raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, state your name.
Crystal Smith,
How old are you?
38.
How far did you go in school?
I graduated high school.
Are you able to read, write, speak, and understand the English language?
Yes, sir.
Are you under the influence of any medication, drugs, or alcohol?
No, Your Honor.
Have you ever been diagnosed with a mental health condition that might affect your ability to understand what's happening right now?
No, Your Honor.
Your attorney has informed me that you wish to change your previously entered plea of not guilty and enter plea of no contest to the charge of tampering with evidence. That is a third-degree felony, which is punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Pursuant to the plea agreement, I would adjudicate you guilty of that offense, place you on 5 years of probation with the condition that you serve 30 days in the St. Johns County Jail. You have credit for 1 day that you've already served. You may apply for early termination of your probation after 3 years have been served. You would also be required to pay standard court costs and fines plus $100 cost of investigation and $100 cost of prosecution. Is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is anyone forcing you or threatening you in any way to get you to do this?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything in exchange for your plea?
No, Your Honor.
I have a document here. It's a plea form. It has the State of Florida versus your name and our case number. On the second page of this document, above the word defendant is a signature. Is that your signature?
Yes, Your Honor.
By signing this document, are you indicating to me that you've read this document, that you've also had a chance to discuss it with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
There are a number of rights I want to make sure that he went over with you that you'll be giving up if I accept your plea today. You have the right to a jury trial. During that trial, you're entitled to be represented by an attorney. If you could not afford one, I would appoint one for you. You and your attorney can sit quietly throughout that entire trial and require the State of Florida to prove this charge beyond a reasonable doubt. You also could have testified during that trial. You could have presented evidence during the trial. You could have compelled witnesses to come in and testify on your behalf and cross-examined any witnesses that might have been called against you. And you could have appealed your conviction and sentenced to a higher court. You understand that once I accept your plea today, there will not be a trial and you'll be giving up all those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Have you had sufficient time to speak with your attorney about any possible defenses that you might have raised to this charge?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney before I accept your plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with his representation of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did your attorney explain to you that if you were not a United States citizen, that entering this plea could subject you to being deported from the United States?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did he also explain to you that if you have ever been convicted of any type of a sexually motivated offense, that entering this plea could subject you to being involuntarily civilly committed?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, have you disclosed all the discovery of this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is there any DNA evidence known that might exonerate her?
No, Your Honor.
Well,
Juries?
Your Honor, that's been the subject of some prior proceedings before his honor, as well as the perpetuation of the testimony of FDLE agent Brooke Hoover, for which Ms. Smith was present. I know that that question about DNA that could exonerate is generally directed to different scenarios than we have present here. There's an argument that it could exonerate. What I would tell the court is we're fully aware of what the status of the DNA evidence in this case is, and despite that knowledge, we intend to proceed with the entry of the plea.
Have you received all of the discovery of the case and discussed it and gone over with your client?
I have.
Statement of factual basis, please.
Yes, Your Honor. On or about May 9th, 2021, in the County of St. Johns, in the state of Florida, the defendant did alter, destroy, conceal, or remove any record, document, or thing, to wit, a pair of jeans, with the purpose to impair its verity or availability in a proceeding or investigation, knowing that a criminal trial, proceeding, or investigation by a duly constituted law enforcement agency of this state was pending or was about to be instituted, contrary to court statute.
Any objections or exceptions to the factual basis?
No objections or exceptions for purposes of the plea, Your Honor.
I do find sufficient factual basis for the charge of tampering with evidence. Ms. Smith, I accept your plea. I find it's entered into freely, voluntarily, and intelligently, that you are coherent and alert, and that you understand the nature of the charge and the consequences of your plea. Before I impose sentence, are there any victim impact statements that will be presented today?
There is one, Your Honor. I also have the, do you want the score sheet now or later?
Yes.
Okay. I have the score sheet prepared here now. I've prepared a copy for counsel. This is the only thing on the score sheet, bringing her total number of points to 16. And as Your Honor knows, that means that the court must sentence an offender to a non-state prison sentence when their points are below 22. And that was taken into account by the state. I'll pass that up to you.
District Attorney, you've discussed with your client that the maximum sentence that the court could have imposed in this case would have been 12 months in the county jail, although it is a third-degree felony based on the guidelines worksheet. The court would not have been able to sentence her to anything more than 12 months. Have you discussed that with her?
We have had that discussion.
And knowing that, she still wanted to proceed with this plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You said that you had a statement, I believe?
Yes, Miss Stacy Bailey.
All right, Ms. Bailey, do you want to come forward? You want her to come on up here?
Yeah, just so she.
I want to move that stuff off.
Thank you for understanding. I have gone over this moment in my head for more than 2 years now. What would I say to the woman who broke the law and caused so much pain to my family? Would my words be ignored, or would they carry weight? Would you truly hear me and understand how your actions have devastated not only my family, our kids' classmates, our family friends, our community, and the people across the world? Do you see the hurt that it has caused on your extended family? Would you ever be able to understand the devastating pain we live through daily? I may never know the answers, but this is my one chance for so. The irreparable damage that you have caused by your actions will forever be etched into our lives. I have tried to put myself in your shoes on that fateful day, 1,000 times, but I can't. I can never get there because you see, I could never put someone else's child in harm's way for my own, no matter the consequences. The choices that you made on Mother's Day, May 9, 2021, will haunt me for the rest of my life. I question whether you grieve the devastating murder of our daughter Tristyn by your son Aiden Fucci, or if you just grieve him being caught and held accountable. What I cannot understand is how you knew our child was missing. Your son was the last known person to see her, and yet you see something suspicious on his jeans and try to wash it out. All the while, you did not know if our daughter was injured or even alive, but you did nothing to help. When so many people gave up their Mother's Day to try to help, you abandoned your son to wash the jeans. Then, to make matters worse, you tried to convince Aiden in the police station later that evening that he was wearing different clothes, to find a story and stick to it. At what point did you ever stop to think about Tristyn's well-being? You have never apologized for your actions. As for your statement that you and your family's lives have been threatened, you have no idea what my family has endured. Where was your concern for all of the children in our community that had their innocence stolen? The daily heartbreak, the constant tears have taken a toll on the well-being of each of us. Our family's lives have been forever altered. I carry worry for my children that a mother cannot fix on how they weather the storm. How do I help them? I cannot. All I can do is pick them up when they fall with love and encouragement and teach them about being a good person to the core. Crystal, no one can make you a good, honest person. Only you can do that. I do have hope from the words of your mother that you are a good person and you can take this time to get back on track. I will pray that your children will learn from your mistakes and receive no ill from your actions. I will also pray that you will reflect upon your actions while you are without your children on this Mother's Day. Even today, I am concerned about you. In the eyes of the law, your plea of no contest and the following adjudication of guilt are the same. Yet as an individual, admitting your wrongdoings is a step in moving forward. The world has seen the evidence of you washing the jeans and checking them with a family member you called you out on tampering with the evidence. They have seen the video of you coaching Aiden to lie. I hope and pray that you will be able to fully admit your guilt one day and truly be sorry for your actions and the pain that you have inflicted upon our family and our community. Thank you for all of your time in this case.
Any additional statements to be read?
No, Your Honor.
All right, anything from the defense?
Your Honor, Ms. Smith is elected to enter her plea because she believes it's in her best interest to do so. In so doing, she wishes to express her deepest sympathy to the Bailey family, as the suffering they are experiencing from the loss of Tristyn is unimaginable. Ms. Smith is grieving in her own right, as her son has been held responsible for Tristyn's murder and is now spending the rest of his life in prison. This tragedy has had a devastating effect on everyone involved. The Bailey family has suffered the greatest loss, and they are not alone in their suffering. Ms. Smith has entered her plea to bring an end to the legal proceedings surrounding the murder of Tristyn Bailey. Ms. Smith hopes that everyone involved can now begin to heal from this tragedy. I would like to set forth that at the time of the conduct giving rise to this prosecution and resulting plea, no one with the exception of one person knew what had happened to Tristyn. Certainly Ms. Smith did not know what had occurred. She was a frantic mother trying to determine what was going on with her son. Only later was she made aware of the horrible crime that had been committed. She apologizes for any additional suffering her conduct caused the Bailey family. I hope the end of these legal proceedings surrounding Tristyn's death will allow everyone impacted by it to begin to find a modicum of peace and begin to try to heal from this tragedy.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. Anything else from either side?
No, Your Honor.
Is there any legal reason why this court cannot impose sentence at this time?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Smith, having entered a plea to the charge of tampering with evidence, I adjudicate you guilty. I sentence you to serve 5 years of probation with the following special condition. You must serve 30 days in the St. Johns County Jail. You have credit for 1 day that you've already served. You would be eligible for application of early termination only upon after completion of 3 years of your probation, and as long as there have not been any violations and you have paid the standard court costs and fines plus $100 cost of investigation and $100 cost of prosecution to the state attorney's office. I believe that covers everything. You have 30 days to appeal the legality of this court sentence. If you wish to appeal, but cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. This time, the bailiffs will take you into custody and bring you over to the St. Johns County Jail. Any other matters we need to address?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
We are adjourned.
Oh, all right.